Don't ask your leader what you should do. Tell them what you are going to do. It's a lose-lose situation to get in a confrontation on the street. If you can break contact and get away, break contact and get away. That's what you should learn self-defense for. Instead of letting the situation dictate our decisions, we must dictate the situation. In war, you are forced to see humanity at its absolute worst. The more you practice, the better you get, the more freedom you have to create. If you get your ego in your way, you will only look to other people and circumstances to blame. Fight weak emotions with logic. Fight the weakness of logic with the power of emotions. Departments and groups within the team must break down silos, depend on each other, and understand who depends on them. Stop checking social media and stop watching one more YouTube video. All animals, including humans, need to see the connection between action and consequence in order to learn or react appropriately. A leader must be humble but not passive, quiet but not silent. A leader must care about the troops, but at the same time, the leader must complete the mission, and in doing so, there will be risk and sometimes unavoidable consequences to the troops. Leaders must own everything in their world. There is no one else to blame. War teaches you about honor, brotherhood, humility, and leadership. The goal of all leaders should be to work themselves out of a job. This means leaders must be heavily engaged in training and mentoring their junior leaders to prepare them to step up and assume greater responsibilities. To implement real change, to drive people to accomplish something truly complex or difficult or dangerous, you can't make people do these things. You have to lead them. Leadership requires belief in the mission and unyielding perseverance to achieve victory. This firefight wasn't between us and the enemy. This firefight tragically was between us and us. To be a good SEAL, you sort of have this criminal mindset that you've somehow harnessed. The leader must pull the different elements within the team together to support one another, with all focused exclusively on how to best accomplish the mission. A leader must be calm, but not robotic. They must be confident, but never cocky. A leader must be brave, but not foolhardy. They must have a competitive spirit, but be a gracious loser. Leadership requires finding the equilibrium in the dichotomy of many seemingly contradictory qualities between one extreme and another. A leader must be attentive to details, but not obsessed by them. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that comes from it. Prioritize your problems and take care of them one at a time. The highest priority first. Don't try to do everything at once, or you won't be successful. Who wants to leave the door open to being dominated physically by another human being? Jiu-Jitsu gives you the ability to not be dominated by that person, and to me, that's real peace of mind. War teaches you. It teaches you about the preciousness and fragility of human life. When setting expectations, no matter what has been said or written, if substandard performance is accepted and no one is held accountable, if there are no consequences, that poor performance becomes the new standard. Therefore, leaders must enforce standards. Admitting mistakes, taking ownership, and developing a plan to overcome challenges are integral to any successful team. Step aggressively towards your fear. That is the step into bravery. Staying ahead of the curve prevents a leader from being overwhelmed when pressure is applied and enables greater decisiveness. To this day, as I can look around and actually overlay the understanding on the way I've carried out my life, is very helpful to me. I could then believe in the mission. If I didn't believe in it, there was no way I could possibly convince the SEALs in my task unit to believe in it. When you are counting on motivation to get your goals accomplished, you will likely fall short. Freedom is what everyone wants, to be able to act and live with freedom. But the only way to get to a place of freedom is through discipline. Stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Start doing it. Although discipline demands control and asceticism, it actually results in freedom. When you have the discipline to get up early, you are rewarded with more free time. People do not follow robots. While you continually focus on what everyone else is doing, I'll focus on what I can do right. They must believe in the cause for which they are fighting. Use the stress to make you a better you. Effective leaders lead successful teams that accomplish their mission and win, and effective leaders do not. I learned that good leaders don't make excuses. Instead, they figure out a way to get it done and win. A good leader does not get bogged down in the minutiae of a tactical problem at the expense of strategic success. Don't fight stress. Embrace it. Turn it on itself. Use it to make yourself sharper and more alert. Use it to make you think and learn and get better and smarter and more effective. The most fundamental and important truths at the heart of extreme ownership: there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. Our freedom to operate and maneuver had increased substantially through disciplined procedures. Discipline equals freedom. One of the best mental disciplines for people to implement is simply putting together a schedule or a task list and actually executing it. His realistic assessment, acknowledgement of failure, and ownership of the problem were key to developing a plan to improve performance and ultimately win. Be dangerous, but disciplined. Discipline is the pathway to freedom. When individual members of the team are highly disciplined, they can be trusted and therefore allowed to operate with very little oversight. Humans can withstand almost inconceivable stress, and you can too. Once the wheels were in motion, I could then determine the next priority, focus the team's efforts there, and then move on to the next priority. You gotta be able to temper all those things in such a way that they can be controlled and disciplined. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be in combat. What makes you a disciplined person is choosing to be disciplined. Don't count on motivation, count on discipline.